everyone, welcome to my Persian Corner. My name is Panta, and today we have a lesson on how to tell time in Persian. So we're gonna start with some basic vocabulary and then look at the patterns of how we say time, and then you'll also be able to give it a shot. So let's get started. Starting with three basic terms for time. Sa'at. Sa'at can mean time, hour, watch, or clock. So basically anything related to time is sa'at. Next is daqiqe. Daqiqe, minute. And this word has two qes in there, which is not easy to say. Even for native speakers, it's not a very friendly word to say. So in speaking, it often sounds like there's only one qe, so it comes out sounding like daqiqe instead of daqiqe, daqiqe. So that might make it a little bit easier to pronounce. Next is saniye, second, saniye. So now that you know these three terms, let's look at our question to ask what time is it? And that question is saat chande. Saat chande. This as you know, is ast, but in spoken Persian, we don't say ast, we say It's reduced to e. So we ask saat chande. Now let's take a look at how we would answer this question. When we're just talking about whole hours, we're going to say it like this. ساعت پنجه. ساعت چاره. هفته. So as you can see in this example, saying ساعت is optional. You can easily omit it. Now you give it a try. You'll see the time, and I'll give you about 8 seconds, since 8 is my lucky number, and then you'll see the answer. Ready? ساعت شیشه. You could have also said شیشه. ساعت نه. You could have also said نه. هشته. Or you could have said ساعت هشته. If we have the hour and the minutes, we're going to say it as we have in the example here. 5 و 10 دقیقه است. So you're literally saying it's 5 and 10 minutes. And the reason we're saying s here at the end rather than is just to help the pronunciation, because we have دقیقه and then to say دقیقه is a little bit difficult. So we'll say دقیقه. 6 و 31 دقیقه است. All right, your turn to give it a try. Ready? ساعت 5 و 20 دقیقه است. شیش و 1 دقیقه است. دوازده و 5 دقیقه است. Okay, now let's add a couple more words to our vocabulary. And the first one is rob, rob, which means quarter. The next one, nim, nim, which means half. And then be, be, which means to, our preposition. So let's take a look at how we would use these words in telling time. So if we're going in this direction on the clock, we're typically going to use va or o, as we say in spoken Persian. And then from the halfway mark up to the hour, we're going to use be or to, kind of like we do in English. Like we say, we can say 6:45, or we can say 6:45, and it's that same concept in Persian. So let's take a look at this. ساعت 12:15. ساعت 7:15. ساعت 9:30. 10:30. 1:03. 1:09. With a time like this, we could say it in two different ways. We can either say 8:10 or 9:52 است. Ready to try again? Here we go. یه رو به 12 است. ساعت 2:15. یک و نیمه. ساعت 4:15. یه رو به 4. 7:30. We saw our words for the different times of day in another video, but we can review them really quickly here. We had صبح, morning, ظهر, noon, بعد از ظهر, afternoon, عصر, evening, شب, night. You could also say نصف شب, midnight, or in the middle of the night. So if you wanted to give the time along with like the actual time along with one of these times of days, for example, you could say ده صبح or پنج بعد از ظهر or نه شب. So you're just adding this time of day after the hour. If you want to ask about an event, maybe like a class, for example, what time the class starts, all you do is add that event before the question ساعت چنده. So we would say, for example, کلاس ساعت چنده? What time is the class? If your class is at, for example, 5:30, you can say کلاس ساعت 5:30. Or maybe something like ساعت 5:30 کلاس دارم. I have class at 5:30. Or for instance, پروازت ساعت چنده? What time is your flight? So we were just adding that event before the question ساعت چنده. A common idiom that you might hear that's related to time is دقیقه 90. دقیقه 90, which literally means the 90th minute. So if I'm not mistaken, this comes from soccer or football where a goal is scored in the very last minute of the game. So this idiom means at the last minute. So how can we use this idiom? People can be دقیقه 90, right? And by adding this E, we turn it into an adjective form, which we saw, this is commonly what we do with words related to weather. We saw this in that video. So a person can be دقیقه 90, meaning a person who does something who always does things at the last minute. شما دقیقه 90 هستین؟ من دقیقه 90 نیستم. This is a billboard that was around town in Tehran during the Nowruz holidays. And please excuse the quality of the photo, but I took this while we were driving right past it in the car. But it says, اجاره دقیقه 90 اقامتگاه نوروزی, which we see our idiom in here, دقیقه 90. And it's basically saying it's an advertisement for last minute accommodation rentals for the Nowruz holidays. So I just wanted to show you that as an example of how we use دقیقه 90. Thank you so much for joining me in this video on how to tell time in Persian. I hope it was useful for you. As always, there are PDFs available on my blog, and the link for that is in the description below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with your family and friends, anybody who might be interested in Iran or Persian language and culture. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Khodafez.